Well, hello friends, welcome to Cornbread Creek Farm. I'm Perry. Today you see we've got corn running out of our ears. Yeah, you get that? Corn running out of your ear corn. Anyway, never mind. Listen, so corns came in. We got about 4 dozen here. We're going to be canning this corn, but I want to show you some other things. I'm going to show you an easy way to, if you've ever had to shuck corn before, you got all them silks to deal with, I'm going to show you an easy way to get this off. So let me show you how we're going to do that. Okay, so right here I've got my Presto canner, and I'll have a link in the description about this canner where you can purchase one if you want one. But for this part of it, I'm actually not using it for the canning purpose. I just got on the stove getting water boil. I don't have this sealed up. I just got the lid just sitting on it. Just bringing my water to a boil. So you see I've got the water in a rolling boil there. So what I want to do is I'm going to get a dozen ear corn and I'm going to put them in here. So let's see, there's 2. 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. And then we kind of want to get us a spoon there we can push them down the so actually what we're doing is we're actually cooking the outside of the corn, the husk, and I'm gonna let it cook for 10 minutes, and then I'll show you what we're gonna do. Okay, y'all, we ready to go again? Y'all notice I got me a pretty little glove. This is this cedar Playtex. I got the only color they have, but it's insulated here in the hand. And that's going to be real important, and I'll show you why in just a second. And then I just got me this old oven mitt, where, because I'm going to be handling this hot corn, I'm going to have to hold it with my hands, and so I want to be able to keep getting burned. And then I've just got a butcher knife, because I'm going to be chopping. So set that over here. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take me out of here this corn, and I'll bring it over here to the cutting board. And then all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go about right there, and I'm just gonna chop it off. And I mean, lost just a little bit, but not a whole lot. And then I'll just come right over here to the sink, and I'm gonna grab it up here where I've got all the silk, and just kind of sling it out, and all the silk stays in there. And you see how pretty that corn is? There may be one silk on it right there, but that's how we're gonna clean this corn. I did do one thing wrong though, is I put the corn in there upside down. I'll show you when I do it again how you should do it. Let me grab another one out here for you. All right, so we got her. I can't tell if you can see me or not. Let me back up this a little bit. So we got our corn. I'm just gonna cut it off there, grab it, give it some good slingings, pull it all off. There we go. I think I'm gonna pile my husk up over here and let them cool off. So when I get ready to put the next batch in, I'll show you how to do it, how I'm gonna do it right. All right, the last time I did this, I put the corn in that way. That's incorrect. Because you're gonna be cutting this part off, so it don't matter if it's sticking outside the water. We want to put it in there with the little not stalks, the Lord, I can't even think what you call it right now. You know what I'm talking about, them things. I'll think of it in a minute. So we'll just fill this pot up with what it'll hold. Usually do about a dozen, but you can do more if you need to. But you can see them sitting in there, and I'll push them down as they get weighted with water. They're kind of floating right now, and because say it actually does float, but once it gets waterlogged, it'll sink. So we'll let that go for another 10 minutes. In the meantime, I'm gonna come over here to my corn, and like I said, most of it has the husk, or has the silk. The silks, that's the word I was looking for a while ago. It has the silks mostly off, but some of them still does have a little bit on there. So we'll look for those silks. A lot of times it all depends on how you hold it. Some of them doesn't have any silk at all on it. I'm gonna go ahead and see it's kind of got a bad top on it. I'm gonna go ahead and lop that off real quick. So I'll go ahead right there at that bad part and just kind of cut that off there, get rid of it. Got another little piece right there. I'll cut that out whenever I'm cleaning it. But most of this doesn't have any silks at all on it. Yeah, that one's totally clean. All right, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of this. All right, so that's what we do. I'm gonna go ahead and be getting the rest of this corn shucked and cleaned, and then we'll move on to the next step of canning this corn. All right, we're back. Got our 48 ears of corn there, and what I did is I got a bowl. I got a large bowl, and then I just take a smaller bowl, turn it upside down, and put it in there. And I'll show you why. Let me get a knife. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this ear of corn, I'm set it up there. This gives me something to hold on to while I sit there and cut. And you see how it just kind of rolls off the bottom as I cut it. Well, got this bowl moving. I didn't have it positioned real good. Okay, so there we go. So see what I'm doing, then I'm just gonna take and kind of scrape my cob a little bit. Get all the juices and stuff out of it. Carry on with the next one. Let me get this one cut up and I'll bring you in for a close shot. All right, so I'm just getting my, if you just want a sharp knife, it'll just glide through it. Sometimes I don't cut it close enough. But you'll have to find, there's a fine edge between where you've got corn and then actually having the cob. So I'm just going to keep doing this until I've got all this corn done. I'll go a little bit faster once I ain't videotaping, because I can just kind of rip through it like that and I'm not talking, I'm actually paying attention to what I'm doing. But let's talk about real quick why we actually want to can corn, because I know your grandmama and your mama and all of them, they done been freezing corn, and you wonder why in the heck you canning corn instead of freezing it. Well, there's several reasons to do that. One, you put corn into, well, the main reason is freezer space is in short supply, and when you fill it up, you want to be able to keep having corn. So this is a replacement for freezing it. But also, if you freeze corn, it's only going to keep for a certain amount of time before it gets freezer burn, or your freezer goes out and you lose everything in it. Well, your canned corn, it can stay on the shelf 5, 10, 15 years and not go bad. The longer you wait, the more flavor it loses over time. But if you get in a feast or famine situation, and you know that it's still going to be good corn that you can enjoy eating. So that's why I do it. But the main reason is for space. Okay, so I'm gonna finish cleaning up all this corn, and when I get done, we'll come back and we'll start the canning process. All right, let me show you this. If you look real close, corn, there's still actually corn on here. So what you're gonna do is take your knife and just kind of turn it sideways and hold it, and just kind of take it and just kind of scrape the cob like that. Get all that starch out of there, get all that juice, and what's called cleaning the cob. Go both ways. And then it'll look like that when you get done with it. Get one more here. All right, let me get all these cobs scraped, and then we'll go from there. All right, so we got all our corn done. I mean, you say how much 4 dozen corn will do. So now we're going to start trying to make this into cream corn. So we're going to do, for every 2 cups of corn that we put in the pot, we're going to put 1 cup of water. Now, let me tell you this. So you notice my pressure canner, I'm using it for everything. I use it to boil the husking. I mean, it's just a big, huge pot, so it's easy to work with. So after I do this, I'm gonna put it in my jars. I'll wash this out and I'll get it ready. Use it as a pressure canner. Right now, I'm gonna use it as a cook pot because you can see how much corn we've got. All right, so like I said, we're gonna do 2 cups of for every 2 cups of corn, we're gonna add 1 cup of water. So there's 2. Four. 6. 8. 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. I got just a little bit more left here. I don't know if we can get 2 cups or not. We'll see. All right, so some of my cups were overfilled, so we'll call it 20 cups. So that means I'm gonna put 10 cups of water in here. Two. 4, 6, 8, 10. So we got 30 cups total with the water and the that's a lot of water and corn. So you can see over here what we got. I'm just gonna kind of give it a good stir. I'll knock some of them chunks out. All right. So now we'll bring it over here to the stove. All right, so we'll come right here to the stove and go ahead and cut it on high, and I'm gonna bring it to a boil. And we're gonna let it, once it comes to boil, we're gonna let it boil for 3 minutes. All right, so we've got our corn up to a boil now. So we'll give it a stir, and I'm gonna set a timer for 3 minutes. Set her. Oh, not bait time. There we go. And we're just gonna let it cook for 3 minutes. And this is what kind of makes it creamy. It releases all the juice out of the corn and makes it into cream corn. Plus it helps us to can it. We won't have to add any water to it after we do this. So let me let it cook, and then we'll start pouring it in our jars. Okay, so we've got our corn that's cooked for 3 minutes. I'm gonna take a largemouth funnel that I can put over this and just a scoop, and we're just gonna start filling the jars up. And I'm gonna fill them up to this line right here. That gives me 1 inch of head space. So, and I'm scooping up the juice and everything with it. I don't want to lose none of it. Might hold this a little bit more. There we go. Now we'll go on to this next one. Let's keep on moving down the line. So here in a minute, we're gonna start canning this. You're gonna notice, if you watch some other people do their canning videos, they're gonna possibly soak their lids in water and either put their jars in the dishwasher to sterilize the jars and or boil the jars before. I ain't doing all that. And the reason being, if y'all watch me in my videos, y'all know that contrary to the way I talk, I'm actually a nurse, and I spent a lot of time working in the OR. I'm an ER nurse right now, but I spent time in the OR, and we spend a lot of time on sterilization. Well, people sterilize their jars as soon as they touch them. No longer are they sterile. As soon as you put your funnel down on your jar, no longer is it sterile. So there's only one way to sterilize something and kill all the bacteria, the botulism and the coli and everything, and that is heat or steam and heat and pressure. So that's why in my region we're going to pressure can everything at 11 pounds per square inch. That's because I'm below 1,000 square feet. Goodness gracious, I did that on last video. Below 1,000 feet below sea level or above sea level. Oh, I'm about to lose my dang mind. I don't know what's going on here. Might have had a little bit too much drink or something. No, I had a little Mountain Dew a while ago. That's about it. So, but anyway, I live below 1,000 feet above sea level. If you're above 1,000 feet sea level, your altitude will change. Hey, and that's one thing I'm curious to know. Where you live, Google what your elevation is, and just drop us a comment below. Just let me know at what elevation you're at. I'm just kind of curious to know what everybody sits at. I'm at 691 feet above sea level. I could go a little bit higher if I went up on the, I got mountains just right over there next to me. The Lookout Mountains. Part of the Appalachian mountain system. I might not have enough jars. I've got some more jars, but I think we're actually gonna fill all these up. It's good because I love some corn. I got that one too full. I'm gonna have to pour some of it out just a minute. I have to get me something to hold it with, but it is hot. Let me get a spoon and just scoop some of it out. There we go. That'll be good. I'm excited about all this corn we're gonna have. This is my favorite thing out of the garden. It's actually one of the hardest things to prepare. It is corn. A lot of work involved in it with the shucking and so forth. Let me go grab a few more jars. You know, if I didn't tell you, I just use the ball mason jars. I always use the pints. I don't really do quarts too often because I do everything in portion size, and very rarely are we going to ever eat a whole quart. And two, quarts take up a lot of room in the pressure canner. I'll be able to put every bit of this in the pressure canner without any trouble. Get these lids off. These I get them with the lids that come on them already, but you can always reuse them. That's the thing I like about canning. You can have your jars and they're still good after you wash them. They're still good for next year, and all you have to do is just buy lids. So I think right now jars are the pints are about $12 for 12 of them, so about $1 a piece. But once you buy them, you don't have to buy them no more. You just have to buy the lids, which ain't near as expensive. All right, let's get filling these things up. We'll kind of turn it over on its end. Well, not that big enough in that one. Well, I don't think I quite have enough for, I may do it. Once you're trying, we can pull a little bit out of these other jars. Let me get I don't know if y'all can see in there real good. I'm getting to the finished part of it. Let me kind of scrape that up a little bit. All right, let's see if we can get all this out. All right, that's all just about this juice only. Well, let me go ahead and get that because I'm gonna just pull some corn out. So let me use up as much as I can. Go ahead and be letting some water run in that where I can wash it. Put a little Dawn in there. Dawn, something like that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get my spoon and I'm just gonna take a rob Peter and pay Paul a little bit here. Let's take a little bit out of each one. A little bit more out of that one. All right, I think that'll be sufficient. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna kind of shake these up just a little bit, kind of just level them out. Okay. All right, here goes something that's so important. I'll just get me a paper towel and I'm gonna wipe off each one of the rims of these jars. You see there how they had a little bit on it. We gotta make sure that this these lids seal, so we're gonna wipe off the top of our jars. Make sure we can get a good seal on it. So what I was saying earlier about whenever we put this thing in a pressure canner, when it goes in and comes out, it's going to kill everything, and everything inside of the jar is going to be sterilized, and it's going to stay sterile for as long as it's sealed up. As long as there's a seal, it's going to be sterile. This corn will keep 5, 10, 15 years. After, say, a couple years, it's going to lose just a little bit of flavor over time. You know what? I'm sitting here wiping these jars off, and I've still got another step I need to do. Here, I've got some old pickling salt. And what that just means is it's just salt without iodine in it. So you can buy this iodinized salt. That's what, if you don't ever use iodine in your canning, because it will mess up the process, it'll deteriorate over time. So you can buy pickling salt, which has nothing to do with pickles. That's just the name of it. It's just salt without iodine. Some people use pink Himalayan salt also, but maybe this is less expensive. It tastes just as good. So I'm putting a 1/4 teaspoon in each one. This helps us give it just a little bit of flavor. Now I'll wipe my jars off. Make sure we didn't get no salt on the rims of the jars, or corn, or anything. Takes just a little bit extra time to do this, but the benefit of it is well worth it, because then you don't have to worry about losing a seal because of it, because it actually takes a little while to pressure can. All right, so there we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my lids on. I'm making a lot of noise, and whenever I put it on, I'm just going to put it on and I'm going to turn it to what's called finger tight. And what that means is you're just going to turn it till it quits turning. You just want that seal just to set good on that jar, and that's all there is to it. All right, I'm going to finish putting the lids on these jars, and I'm wash up my pressure canner, and then we'll meet over at the stove. All right, friends, we got our corn all ready to go. I've got the lids on everything, and I've got my pressure canner here. This is a little Presto pressure canner. I've got a link in the description that'll tell you how to get one if you want to get one. But let me see if I can get you right here where you can see. There's a little line down here on the bottom that shows you how far to put the water level to. So it doesn't take a whole lot, so that's where we're going to go with it. And then we're going to take one of these little trays, and it lets whenever it starts boiling, it'll let the bubbles just come up out of this, but it don't rattle the jars on the bottom of the pot, so it keeps you from having broken glass. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut this up on high where it start heating up, and I'm gonna just go ahead and just line my bottom with my jars. I can fit 10 jars on the bottom. I've got 16 pints out of 4 dozen. That's pretty good. All right, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take another little tray and set it. I'll put it on top of the jars, so you see how I've got them lined up. Put that on top of the jars like so, and then we can put our other jars on top of that. We'll just there we go. You can see kind of how I've got that done. All right. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my lid, and it's got a little arrow right here. We're gonna line it up with the arrow that's right here on the handle, and now allow it just to set down real good, and we'll twist it and let it sit there. All right, when this thing heats up, steam's gonna start coming out of it, and this thing's gonna pop up. And when it pops up, that means it's starting to build up pressure. There's enough pressure to push that up. And once that starts, steam's gonna be coming out of it. We're gonna set a timer for 10 minutes, and we're gonna let it steam like that for 10 minutes. And then we're gonna bring this up to pressure. Like I was saying earlier, at the elevation I'm at, I'm gonna can right here at 11 pounds per square inch. Some of you will do 15, some of you do 20. I don't think many of you ever do 20. And I could be wrong about 20. I can't remember the exact poundage just because I concentrate on what I do. But you're welcome to look it up and see what pressure you need to be at your can rate. But after that 10 minutes, we're going to put a weight on there, and that's when this pressure starts going up. You probably remember your grandmama's, it would sit there and wobble. That's a different kind of pressure canner. It works the same way. Look, everybody's always scared of canning. If it's 11 pounds per square inch, that's just not a lot of pressure. Where you can mess up is if you try to open it up, you're gonna get a steam burn, that steam rushing out. Also, if you let it just keep going around until it gets above level, it's not gonna blow up at 20 pounds per square inch. But if it gets above that, you just want to turn your heat off and just let it start backing down. Okay, anyway, enough talking. Let me let it get the temperature. When it does, when this thing pops up and it starts steaming, I'll cut it back on. We'll go from there. All right, if you see this thing's starting to kind of boil and pick up right there a little bit, that means it's getting ready to, almost ready to pop up. So there's going to be a little bit of splashing and bubbling for just a minute, but you probably fixing to see it pop up. All right, this thing right here is starting to steam. It's starting to come out a little bit. It's getting ready to pop up, and there it is. So that's what you're looking for. Now we're going to start having steam. See this? I don't know if you can see the steam coming out or not. Let me see if I can position it where you can. I don't think so. But so now what we want to do is we want to set a timer for 10 minutes. So, and after 10 minutes, it'll be ready for us to put the weight on there. So after 10 minutes, we'll continue on. All right, so 10 minutes has passed. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my weight, I'm gonna throw it over it like that, and then as the heat starts coming up, I'm gonna turn my heat down. I'm just gonna let this start slowly climbing up. I didn't turn my timer off. Sorry about that annoying sound. So I'm gonna go ahead and back it down. I know mine on my stove about 4 is where it needs to be to hit temperature, but I'm gonna turn mine down about medium, and that way it'll just kind of come up a little bit slower. Now you're gonna watch a little bit of splattering and stuff come up under this. That's okay, it's nothing to worry about, but this one's not gonna jiggle. Now that's just dealing with this Presto canner. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description if you want this exact one. I love it. It's done great for me. So once it gets up to temperature, we'll let it cook 55 minutes with the corn. That's because it's in the pint jars. If you was going to be doing quart jars, you'd be doing 80 minutes. I'm sorry, whenever I'm talking, I'm letting y'all look at a pot instead of me. So I'm just going to let this get up to pressure, and then once it gets up to 11 psi, then that's when I'll start my timer. All right, there we are. We're finally up to 11 pounds per square inch on this thing. So I'm going to start a timer for 55 minutes. All right, and like I said, it's okay if it, well, I don't think I said in another video, but let me tell y'all, okay? So if this thing gets above 11, that's okay. I mean, we don't want it just to keep crawling up. If you see that it's moving up a little bit, back your temperature off just a little bit. And but the main thing is don't let it go below 11. But if it does, no problem. Bring your temperature back up. Start your timer over again. It's got to stay for 55 minutes above 11 psi. So here for 55 minutes, I'm just going to kind of keep coming here and keep an eye on it. I notice it's still crawling up. It's not quite to 12, so I'm just going to back my temperature off just a little bit. I mean, just a little bit. If it keeps going up some more, I'm going to back it off just a little bit more. So we're just going to keep letting it go. And then whenever it gets done, I'll show you what we're going to do then. All right, our time's up. I'm going to go ahead and cut the heat off. And now then, what we're going to do is something that's very important. This is where people get hurt, if they do get hurt, pressure canning, and as they try to rush, take the top off, whatever, you'll get steam burnt. This is under pressure, not enough to make it explode, but that steam will come out real fast. So right now what we've got to do is just walk away, let it cool off. This pressure needs to go all the way down to 0, and this little nipple that's popped up letting you know it's under pressure needs to drop. Once it does that, then we can come back and take care of it then. Until then, we're just going to walk away, leave it alone, not do nothing. About 30 minutes, I'll come check, and if it's not settled out by then I'll give it some more time. So, like I'm telling you, I'm just going to walk away. So I'll see y'all in a minute. All right. See here, our pressure's dropped down 0 and the nipple's gone. So we can go ahead and take that off now. See how there's no steam come out of it? It's because all the pressure's been released. So let's talk about some safety stuff dealing with this. Whenever I open this up, smart thing to do is to open it up away from you. That way let the steam go out that way, or otherwise it's going to come back in your face or up on your hands. Another point to make, and I always tell everybody in my videos this, I've learned this the hard way, nobody else tell you this, but when you pull that lid back, first thing's going to happen is that water, if you step back with it, that water is going to start dripping off that lid. And usually what's right down there is your feet. And if you ain't got no shoes on, or even if you got shoes on, but water can get through them, it hurts, it burns. So make sure your feet's out of the way. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn that, I'm going to open it up away from me. I kind of push it back a little bit, let that water, it's that water dripping off, and just let it drip away from me. I'm just going to set the lid off itself. All right, get right there where you can see. Let's get this corn out of here. All right, this part right here is usually really hot, so I just get me a spoon or something that I can get and pick that up with to be able to get down to those. And I'll just drop it over there in the sink. Hear that popping? It means it's sealing. That's what we wanna hear. I can't get this camera right to save my life. I'm trying to get where you can see me and see the corn. Speaking of corn, let me show you what it looks like. Let me bring it in close. You can see it's still boiling there. Oh, I can't wait. So you can take this corn, and if you want to, you can add a little sugar to it. After you're ready to use it, put a little cornstarch in there, a little flour, thicken it up some. Makes it great, but this is just a good way just for storage. But the corn's already fully cooked now. All it's got to do is just be heated. I love the sound of that. Just love to hear that pop. And each and every one of them needs to do that. They'll have, if you can touch it and it goes pop, 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 pop. When you touch it, it's not sealed. I wouldn't do that till it cools down, but they should all be sealed. You shouldn't hear nothing when you push down on it. All right, let me bring y'all in for a close-up. Let's turn that thing around where you can. It's a little bit hot. Bring that thing around there where you can see it. Let me get you in there. You can see it real good. Well, y'all, as always, it's just been a wonderful pleasure. Thank you for subscribing to the channel and all the comments you leave and the likes. It just warms my heart every time to see all that. You don't know how much it means to me. I love each and every single one of you, same way God loves each and every one of you. And as always, say hey to your mama and them for me. Bye bye, love y'all.